Hi there, and you're watching Dúgascopy TV. I'm Doireann Mc Dermott. Well, the IMF has estimated that GDP growth in Mozambique will reach 8.4% this year. Now, the economy is looking pretty bullish, and there seems to be plenty of room for investment. On this topic today, I am joined by André Ribeiro from Strongeagle. So welcome today. Now let's begin by looking at the political situation. Now it has for 20 years been at peace, there's been no civil war, and of course it has been a member of the Commonwealth since 1996. So generally speaking, it looks pretty healthy. A quick look at this flag. So this is the flag. Now before we talk more about the political situation, for a country that's been away from civil war, I find it quite interesting that there is a rifle, and actually it's the only country in the world that has a modern day rifle on the national flag, and underneath is a book. Now for a country that should be for investment, and what are your thoughts on the political situation? Do you think it is healthy and a good place to invest?
Sure. I mean, of course, first of all, thanks for having me. The country is actually very stable. The country, of course, is very recent, and it came out of course, fight against the Portuguese, and I am Portuguese, and still am very comfortable being there. So it's very recent, and perhaps that's the reason why you still have that on the flag. Anyway, and what's very interesting about this country is that it's a very young country, yet it's established democracy. It does have a rotation of presidents. It does have what we're used to in the instituted democracies of the West. It's been at peace. It's been working very closely because of its years of extreme poverty, very closely with international organizations such as the IMF and the World Bank. And at this moment, it's actually receiving investments from companies from all over the world, oil companies, mining companies, infrastructure construction companies, and they're actually being very well received, and most of them are very happy with their investments, and actually we're very bullish on the country.
Good, and in general, many say Africa is the place to invest, has lots of opportunities. Now you believe EMs will actually, outperform advanced countries now this year. So let's have a quick look at this chart, and tell me why your reasons are. Well,
it's very simple. Demographics play a role, and here any economist in the world knows that the emerging markets are overtaking the developed world. Demographics play a role. The fact that they lag so much behind, just some getting them closer to our lifestyle, obviously makes their growth much bigger than ours. Of course, as we know, Europe is suffering. The US, of course, gives us some interesting signs, but of course we're talking about growth rates which are much smaller. When you look at a country like Mozambique, which we're here talking about today, even before receiving all the foreign direct investments which are expected for the forthcoming years, it was already growing at north of 7% per annum. So it's just the status of these economies, the fact that they've reached some degree of stability that gives confidence for external investors to come in, and last but not least, the fact that they have tremendous natural resources, energetic and others, which are of great use and in desperate need in countries that are growing and that are in need of these resources. So the outlook seems very, very good for these countries.
And yes, the GDP looks pretty healthy. For Mozambique, looks pretty good. Now, moving on, looking more at the natural resources, can you tell me what natural resources are? I know gas plays a big role.
Yes.
So tell me more.
Yes. Well, this is a country that actually it's still very poor. Its GDP is very small, yet it's a $12 billion GDP country. However, it's recently discovered very big resources of energetic in nature. The natural gas reserves that were found out in the two areas of exploration which are now being explored, areas 1 and 4, right at the north of the country, close to Tanzania. These two discoveries, these two areas of exploration have made discoveries that place the country as the 4th largest natural gas reserves in the world, only behind Qatar, Russia and Iran. Now, if you look at this, and if you put this together with the fact that they also have very, very big coal reserves in the region of Tet, which are being explored by Val and by Rio Tinto. And if you look at the geographic position of the country facing east, and so facing the markets of consumption of the future, we're talking about China, Japan, Korea, India. This is, of course, very, very interesting and very, very promising. And we all, all experts believe that in 20, 30 years' time, the consumption of energy is going to be higher than today. It's going to be driven by these countries, by the Far East, and it's going to be actually consuming natural gas in a big chunk and coal still in a big chunk. So this is a country that has something which is very important for the future of the energetic consumption and will be very valued by that.
Great, and then let's just move on now to talking about services and infrastructure. Now, the quality is not great in Mozambique, so there's a lot of room for development. If you want, you can kind of talk me through these figures here. And
well, of course, the country is still, very, very basic in terms of its infrastructure, and so for it to develop, what's happening is it's receiving a lot of expatriates. It's, of course, there's a lot of Mozambicans who are learning, and it's very, very good for the country. But it will definitely receive a lot of expatriates. And what will happen in this country, what we foresee, is similar to what's happening in other African countries that have received foreign direct investment in a massive scale to develop their resources. And what this means is that the immediate needs are going to be basic things like, real estate, good housing, good office spaces, good warehousing facilities, good logistics. At the moment, a lot of infrastructure in the country is being developed. The ports are being increased, new airports, new bridges, and so we're at the stage where the country is, going through a massive development. We see this as a very interesting investment opportunity, because here's a country which has, very interesting political environment and facing a moment of very of investment and of growth. So that's it. If you look at what we're seeing here, this is basically. I think this is a study from Mercer. It's a cost for expatriates in cities around the world, and what we see here is that. Usually in this type of cities, the cost is very high, actually higher than the capitals of the world. And what we see is Maputo, the Mozambican capital, is ranked number 93. And what we don't expect Maputo to become the most expensive city in the world, hopefully not. But definitely there will be an appreciation in value in a lot of this type of assets.
Thank you very much for coming into the studio and having a look at these opportunities with us today.
Thank you very much.
And viewers, as always, thank you for watching Doireann TV. Now do stay tuned by clicking on the website and having a look at our interviews and our press reviews. But for now, have a great day.